And of course, let's get into the astrology news. This is a segment in which I tell you what is going to be happening in our world, looking at the stars and reporting live from the perspective of astrology. And of course, this is Mitta, your astrology journalist. I bring you all the raw news before you get to see the headlines. So this is how we get to know what will be in the headlines or what will happen, because most of the time these things have not even taken place. And today it is the 21st, and the time right now it is 2300. That would be 11 o'clock at night. So 2300 hours, 11 o'clock at night. Now I will be looking at the days from the 22nd until the 28th or 29th or so. And I know I have not reported on the past 4 days, and things happen. So what I do see happening for that, now we must remember, like I said in the previous videos, that there were going to be a whole lot of changes and planetary movements, having Jupiter entered into the Cancer sign. We are having it very, very new in this Cancer sign, and we also welcomed Sun in the Libra sign as of the 19th. And so we have experienced those changes. We will also be seeing Mercury getting into the Scorpio sign on the 25th, and so there is that to expect. And finally, on the 28th, we will be having Mars also moving out of the Libra sign into the Scorpio sign. And so for now, particularly for tomorrow, the Libra sign is quite full and there's a cluster there. We are having Moon, Mercury, Sun, Mars and Lilith. So it is going to be a huge day tomorrow and on the 23rd as well, because Moon will be highly active in the Libra sign. And so the whole atmosphere is going to be looking at relationships, because we must remember that the Libra sign is all about relationships. And in terms of the leaderships in our world, this is the diplomacy. So a lot of diplomats will be under scrutiny at this time, and some diplomats would be going out there trying to negotiate for their countries, as well as trying to get into agreements. But we should be expecting some hiccups, as we've already seen, pertaining to the meeting of President Donald Trump and President Putin, because Mars and Mercury both in their sign of negotiations and sign of diplomacy is not gelling well, because like I said in the previous videos, Mars in Libra makes relationships agitated, because it is agitated as well in the sign. So this has been expected, and particularly having Mercury, that is the communication, getting entangled with Mars. Mars is not happy with Mercury so much. Now tomorrow on the 22nd, and as well going into the 23rd, I do see conflict continuing. So there will be conflict continuing. There will be self-sabotage as well. So whether it's a intimate relationship or on a global perspective, companies, organizations, government, so there will be that hustle whereby the conflicts are just going on and people are just working against themselves at this time due to that mass there. Now I do see a headline about a relationship of a celebrity or a power couple. So that is going to come under scrutiny in these 2 days, or the 22nd and the 23rd. It's a beautiful couple, or one of them is known to be beautiful, maybe the lady or the guy, but there's some sort of beauty about them, but they're going to come under scrutiny because what if they have done is actually self-sabotage. So it could be the conflict that they are experiencing in the relationship, or news about dependency or codependency that is happening in their relationships. I do see also some heated emotions at this time, so that could also be part of what is being reported in the news on the 22nd and the 23rd. So going to dig deeper, I do see also a different headline that it will be focusing on perhaps a partner that is that is experiencing some loss of some sort. So it could be maybe the loss of their spouse, or a divorce, separation, but then there is a loss that is experienced in love at this time, and it's going to be about somebody who's known as a workaholic, somebody who's known to, or also maybe to be careful about their body, their diet. I do see that. Oh, by the way, I also do see some violence continuing in terms of Israel. I thought there was peace already happening there, but for the next 2 days, I do see a story about some violent action happening. So I haven't checked what's been happening. So for the past 4 days, I've been really busy. I have not done any investigations, like deep investigations in terms of what the planets have been saying, and therefore this is why I had not reported. But I do see here for the next 2 days definitely a story about ongoing violence, or violence being experienced or being caused by them at this time. There will be rain, so there will be huge rains that will be experienced by, I would say, an island, or maybe a country that is isolated from other countries, whereby there are those countries that are just on the outskirts of the continent. There will be quite a lot of rain, and it will be actually it could be expected throughout the week, but it will be a release rain, like a rain that is coming as a form of renewal. So that should be expected. We will know obviously about the location, because it's going to be on the outskirts, so it's not going to be in the middle of the continent. So it's going to be on the outskirts, next to the ocean, next to the water. So that's how we're going to identify the headline and how it's fitting. So basically it is time for transformation right now, not only in relationships, as I said, but also just globally. It is time for transformation. It is time for just reinventing either maybe your relationship or yourself, or how you present yourself or your work. But it is a good time for that reinvention to be happening now. I do see from the 23rd until the 24th that there could be, or there should be, some vigilance being done here, because I do see another headline pertaining to health regarding a female, maybe while giving birth or something relating to birth, so there is that headline news. It's going to be about grief, so I just hope it's not maybe a loss of a child, but I do see some grief, sadness, around a female at this time, and perhaps regarding their health. So I also do see that there could be manipulations, definitely, when it comes to relationships in terms of countries, geopolitically. I see that. I do see a scandal. My gosh, it's going to be a huge scandal between the 23rd and the 24th. It could also include some sexuality or related topics to that, but it could be thrown out of proportion, really. So I do see that, and there could be something sad, so it's going to be vocally sad. So maybe it could be through a speech, somebody's speech, like a leader, saying something about corruption, a story about corruption, or maybe a leader is found to have committed corruption. So there's going to be that scandal. So it's going to be huge. It may be thrown out of proportion, but nonetheless it's going to be a scandal that is being talked about. And possibly it could also be a scandal relating to cheating on the spouse, or sexuality, or it's a different headline altogether. So maybe these are just two headlines that are different. One is talking about the corruption and power and all of that, and then the other one is a scandal about cheating and sexuality and all of this. And so I do see that coming up highly on these dates, 23rd and the 24th. And actually we could also see a similar scandal around the 24th and the 26th coming up as well. So that could be expected. Wouldn't be surprised to see something relating to these topics coming up again on the 24th up until the 26th, I would say. So I also do see that between the 23rd and the 24th there is a loss of reputation regarding to it could be like a celebrity or somebody that is loved, it could be in the entertainment, particularly in the entertainment industry. When it comes to Israel, I don't see the violence or accidents are stopping anytime this week. So I don't know how far those negotiations have gone, but according to the stars, there should be vigilance being made throughout the week, actually, just until the 28th. I do see that, and I do see some people who are trying to get into one of the countries regarding or relating to Israel being heckled hold on, what is happening here? There is so much movement, and I thought there was negotiation done. Didn't Mr. President Trump say that there was phase 1 being done? But what is happening here? Why am I seeing a whole lot of violence, accidents, conflict just throughout? I can't even like pick a day. It's just red zone throughout. And actually Pakistan should also watch out, by the way. This week is not a good week for Pakistan either. Hold on, what is happening? What is happening? Oh, and you know what? When it comes to Iran, now they are in a very different or better position to advance their nuclear program right now. Their stars are just opening up quite a lot of favor for them to improve or advance their nuclear stuff. I do see that right now, and there could be some contact with Israel this week. Between Iran and Israel, there could be some contact. So it could be, well, any type of contact. It could be in terms of negotiations, talks, or they're talking about each other, you know. But it's so interesting because Israel is up for peace right now. But I see that violence happening, but they are up for peace. Like they are saying, we actually are up for peace, but things are just happening. Like the violence is just, the conflict is not stopping. Which is indicating that within their camp, there is some bickering. Within their camp is divided. That's what I can see here. Their camp is divided in terms of what needs to be done way forward. Deception. I see a lot of deception. High ambitions, definitely throughout the week. High ambitions. They want to achieve stuff. Yeah, even within the camp, their relationship is not so good. They are not all on the same page, and particularly with their partners as well, such as America. I do see some strain there. So there are so many things that are being talked about, maybe negotiations, and they're failing. I see that failure just popping up every corner here. So that's what I see. And it's so funny, particularly around the 26th, 27th, 28th, they could be verbally saying that they feel unsupported at this time. Like they could come out and say they don't feel supported by maybe somebody, you know, an ally. Or yeah. No, there's just so much destruction that I see continuing this week. So that's what I see when it comes to this. And you know, around the end of the month, around the 28th, 29th, Iran could make a huge move in terms of what they have been planning to do. And it could be about you're just making the first move towards what they've been planning. Being fearful of, you know, having so much fear of being vulnerable. So to protect themselves, they must do something. So I do see that. So it's like a step forward towards something, but a lot of indecision. So they're very indecisive as well. I do see that. Speaking of which, when I look closer or closely to Russia, what a week, right? I already said it last week, and we've already seen Russia being busy everywhere. But what I do want to say is, as I said, I did see a lot of self-sabotage, and it could also be relating to the cancellation of the negotiation. I already said that in my past predictions, but I do see it coming up again, particularly the 23rd and the 24th for Russia. So they are conflicted themselves. They conflict. They can't decide. There's a high indecision right now in terms of a partner. So it could be the US, particularly the US here. Or not necessarily the US, but President Trump himself. So there is a disconnect. Right now, there's a disconnect that they're experiencing with Mr. Donald Trump. And of course, we've seen that part. But where is it coming from? Let me see this. Wanting to do things by themselves. There's something that they want to accomplish first by themselves without other people getting involved first. Particularly around the 26th, 27th, 28th, I see this. They're trying to avoid conflict. So they are trying to avoid conflict. So they could be indecisive of like the way forward, trying not to upset any party right now, but at the same time there could be some traveling that one of their of their leaders, maybe President Putin, that will be taking place on the 26th, 27th, 28th towards resolving something, or maybe just to have some thoughts alone, calm, be calm, be away, think things through, trying to appease quite a lot of people. They are not wanting to lose control, actually. So I do see that. So they are walking the line. They're walking the line. Walking the line to keep the relationships going, not to upset anyone, but at the same time, in the back of their head, they know what they want to do, but very conflicted as well. They could be also, as I said, pleasing too much, saying yes a lot. 26th and the 27th, and they could be forced into a corner here to be flexible a bit. I do see a bit of aggression as well, and it could be in communication right now. So maybe communication to them, mostly they always calm, so it could be communication towards them. I've never seen them having like a heated throwing argument. They're always calm. So it could be indicating it's an aggressive communication going towards them at this time. However, I do see, hold on, 25th, 26th, I do see a lot of what's the word, resentment from one of their partners, or about a negotiation. Okay, about a negotiation. There's some revenge right now. There's revenge, or a need to be vengeful. But the question is it from their partner, or is it them? As I said, they are walking the line. They're really walking the line. Highly walking the line. Trying so hard. Yeah, I see that. Anyway, and anyhow, and anywho, I think that's their news. Let's see what's going to be happening regarding the United States of America and Mr. Donald Trump, the president of the world, as I always call him, because he came in and he just wanted to fix every war and bring in peace. We haven't seen something like this. Well, in our lifetime, we have seen presidents come in and enticing war, but he came in and he just started to touch this country, that country, saying, hey, get into a peaceful mode. So that was very refreshing, and it did show some authority from his side. So I do make, this light comment and say he's the president of the world, because he came in and he showed his power over the world, but towards a peaceful outcome, which is incredible and which cannot be denied. Now let's see what is happening on his side. He's stressed, this thing. There's something about Russia. There's something relating to him and Russia, and I already said this in my previous prediction, and it's just coming up every time in the charts. So there's something, and I said last time it could be blackmail, regarding to blackmail, or something like this. Maybe blackmail is the hard word here, but you get the picture, whereby there are some secrets that it's either he knows about the Russian camp, or the Russian camp, they know stuff about him. So there is that, because there is a high Lilith here that is playing a role. So that is highly indicated here. So I do see that. So that is stressing him. Actually, I see that is like in the back of his head. Yeah, that could, hold on. There's just so much information. Okay, I do see some anger. So there's something that is going to anger him this week. I also do see that he could be a bit too trusting of some people, or maybe things that are being said to him. Too trusting. He could be very too trusting, and like be burnt off in the long run. So there are people that he might be working with, and these are people that are not in his immediate They're not in the immediate circle, but they are people, maybe like, some other leaders, like mayors or other ministers, like people who work with the community. There's those people here that they could be doing some magic, behind him. I see that. I also do see yeah, there's some information that a higher government body or other presidents of other countries that know about him, and that is hurtful. Or plans against him that are hurtful. They know about it. They're talking about it. They are talking about these ill plans towards him or about him. And when it comes to the United States of America, they could be going into some sort of a war. I do understand that they're already having a war with, what's this country? Venezuela. Right now there's some story there, but it could be intensified when it comes to, towards the end of the month up until, and then into November. So there is going to be an intensified war. Oh, hold on. It could also be with China. India, China. It could be a war, and it could be a war of also of business war. Oh, when I talked about Iran, and there is a connection now when it comes to the US and Iran towards the end of the month, of this month, 27, 26, 27, 28, and into November, there is going to be high action between the US and Iran, and it's going to include war. It could be war of words, war of actions, war of whatever, force. But directly the US and China, India, they are going to have business war for sure. Some business war happening there, if it's not like war, but business war. They offer, like the US is forcing Israel to be, or Israel is talking with the US, but there's some talks at this time. Towards the end of the month, there will be talks, like serious talks, in terms of the peace and the negotiations. So it's either now, the US really forces Israel to do something, or vice versa. But it's gonna be a good time now. Whoa, November! I cannot wait to see what's gonna happen. I'll be doing that analysis in maybe next week, because when I look at this, whoa, it's something I've never seen before. So there's that. India must just watch out. Whoa. I've already said, about India, but things are really starting to heat up now as well. So yeah, that's very interesting from what the stars are showing. And of course, all the countries are always, they have their top advisors, top analysts. I'm sure they are all already anticipating such things, all, are on the high alert of these things. So, it's just that the stars, they show them before they come into place, but people, they have intelligent people working to anticipate such things. So I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. Well, that's it. I must say thank you, and I will be doing another synastry analysis very soon. I wanted to do that synastry analysis with this part, but I just I don't have enough time, so I'm so limited on time. I just want to release these these headlines, and I'll chat to you soon. I'll be into this is Mitta, your astrology journalist.